Everybody to the Ashes to Ruby's channel podcast, morning devotion. Here we go. Welcome everyone. I was like doing a little cheer right before. You were a cheerleader, weren't you?
Oh, wow.
Were you a cheerleader in Ottawa
No.
or just in the Winnipeg?
In Winnipeg. There was no cheerleaders here.
No, our school spirit
Our
was
school
like
was so lame.
dead. Yeah, like
And
no one would come to any of our games. And we were like city champions in a lot of sports.
The worst thing was moving from Winnipeg. So as I was like thinking about moving, your imagination just can sometimes get away on you a little bit. And I was like, oh, I'm moving to Ottawa. And it felt so glamorous.
Oh, the cheering is going to be so great.
Imagining what kind of high school I would go to. I thought that, maybe they'll have a swim team because I was really into swimming. And then I come to like the lamest high school ever.
No, I had the same experience coming from Sudbury. Like wrestling was massive. Like they would have wrestling tournaments with hundreds of people watching. Like schools and I came here and there wasn't even a wrestling team. There was a couple of mats in a room with a barbell. I'm like, this is. I had the same perception of coming to school.
We went to a very small high school.
Yeah, but the schools weren't the same. Like when I came from Sudbury, like the school that I came from was massive.
That's what I'm saying. We went to a very small. Well, that's the thing. I don't understand. Like in Winnipeg, my school was huge, was really big too.
Yeah.
Like, I forget how many kids were in it, but
it was a big deal.
At least three times as many as our school here.
Well, school in Ottawa.
We did meet in high school. That's what
we met in high school. Yeah.
We met in high school.
My exciting news of the day is that I am taking the smoking game, the food smoking game. I do not smoke any longer. I do not smoke cigars any longer. I've been free from nicotine for over a year and a half.
Barbecue.
Yes. I am smoking the brisket. So today is the first time I've ever done a brisket. Vicky's got photos.
Oh, I don't have a photo of the brisket. I thought I did.
I got a photo of the brisket.
And
do you want to see a photo of the brisket?
I feel like it's not easy to make brisket.
No
we Googled it.
I know. I slave. I cook. I'm going to be cooking for 12 hours.
This is a big piece.
There's the camera.
Oh, I don't even know. Oh, that's
it. It's 16 pounds. It barely fit on the smoker. So what I'm thinking of, maybe we need a bigger smoker.
16. Oh no, that's not how this goes.
That's not how it goes. All right. Welcome everybody. We are going to enter into a time of morning devotionals or meditation. And so we try to get a concept out of recovery and apply it to our day today. Yesterday was about freedom. And about how freedom works and all that kind of stuff.
Spiritually
with each other.
On a spiritual level with each other. Mm-hmm. And outside of ourselves.
And join us today at noon. Our friend Dee Dee will be sharing at our open recovery meeting. So that is 12 Eastern time. So come and hang out with us at noon. Okay, title is Trusting Others.
Oof.
Oh. Any trust issues over there?
None.
None?
No.
Not one. No trust issues.
No defense mechanisms. No self-protection. No.
Nothing.
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. Okay. So you should be able to just be able to share on this and meditate on this. Okay. Here's a quote. But does trust require that we be blind to other people's motives or indeed to our own? Not at all. This would be foolishness. Most certainly, we should access the capacity for harms as well as the capacity for good in every person that we would trust. Such a private inventory can reveal the degree of confidence we should extend in any given situation. The reading says, I am not a victim of others, but rather a victim of my expectation, choices, and dishonesty. When I expect others to be what I want them to be and not who they are, when they fail to meet my expectations, I am hurt. When my choices are based on self-centeredness, I find I am lonely and distrustful. I gain confidence in myself, however, when I practice honesty in all my affairs. When I search my motives and am being honest and trusting, I am aware of the capacity for harm in situations and can avoid those that are harmful. Amen. That's a tricky devotional, because it's the meditation is about trusting others, but proceeding with wisdom and caution.
Yes.
Because not everybody is trustworthy, but then my own motivation and my trust game started early in my recovery. I was 3 months into a 5-month program at a homeless shelter in recovery, and one of the mandates was to get a sponsor and go to meetings. Like every rehab says, just go to meetings and get a sponsor. So I was doing the meetings part, but I never had a sponsor because I couldn't find an appropriate sponsor for John Ruby to lead. And I was like, I don't really need a sponsor. This is pretty easy to figure out. So then I had a problem at a meeting. I don't know what I did, but I probably crosstalked. I shared on top of somebody and maybe asked a question, and I was met with assertiveness. My interpretation was it was very rude and cut me down. And so I was really hurt, and typically I would have punched that person, but this is a new life and I'm trying to stay sober. But I was like fuming all the way home, and one of the counselors was there at 9:00 when I got home, and I told him about it, and he's like, well, maybe you should ask your sponsor about this. Can you call him right now? And I was like, yeah, good idea. Thank you. Such wisdom. And he's like, you don't have a sponsor, do you? And I was like, no, I've been struggling in that area. He goes, you know what I'm going to do for you? He goes, I'm going to give you another chance, an opportunity. So tomorrow you go to the first meeting that you can, and you go up to the front and you ask somebody to be your sponsor. And right then I realized that I had trust issues. Like I'm drowning in, like, it's like I went onto the lake, I crashed through the ice in the winter, and I'm like, I can't breathe. And yet there's hands, and I'm not willing to trust those hands to pull me out. Like I need the right hand. And I went to that meeting, and I was so nervous and scared. My mouth was dry. My hands were sweaty. It was like worse than any first date I've ever been on. And I had to go up the front, ask the question, and they said, okay, well, after the meeting, come back up. And I was like, oh my goodness, a whole meeting. So I did come back up, and they introduced me to Jim N. And I had to meet him the next week at a coffee shop, and he just shared his experience with me and started walking me through the big book. And so we come in, and I came in very full of fear of trusting anybody, especially a man, and that intimacy and that weirdness of like. But the reality is, we do that in the trades. You're an apprentice when you start, so it's the same concept.
And I like how it brings up, that really. Oftentimes our trust issues, like when we talk about all the reasons that I wouldn't be able to do that, all the things that have happened so that I can't trust people and I can't ask somebody to do that. It really is because of my expectations. Right. And so I've expected others to be what I wanted them to be. Like if I've tried to have a sponsor before and it hasn't worked out, then I have either had expectations, or somebody has done something or not done something, and then I'm like, upset about it. And so typically my reasons are all based on self-centeredness.
So would you say that expectations is the source of fear?
Well, expectations come out of fear. They're not a source of fear. Fear is a source of expectations. They're coming from the root of fear. Yeah. Fear causes expectations, and fear causes mistrust, and fear causes me to self-protect. And then I'm going to be lonely and distrustful. When I practice honesty, so practicing honesty is like saying to someone, hey, when you said that, like, I didn't really understand. Did you mean this? And giving them a chance to say what they meant, like that guy in that meeting, right? If you got up to that guy in that meeting, if you had a sponsor and you talked to your sponsor about it and said like, hey, this happened, and like, I was really ticked off by it. Like, how dare that guy say that to me? And you let your sponsor say, well, this is what he was saying. This is the kind of environment that we're trying to have in a meeting. We value your input, and absolutely you can ask questions, but, come after and ask a question or whatever it is. Like, I'm being courageous in being honest and bringing whatever question I have or whatever expectation I have to someone else and letting them clarify. But typically when I have mistrust, I have a whole list of reasons that I'm mistrustful. And I've never taken those reasons to another person to let them clarify their perspective, to let them, express why they did what they did, or what the purpose of it was, or how much they do value me, or you know what I mean?
And then the other caution is like using wisdom. So how do I invite people into my life? Well, I want what they have, but I don't want the cool kid. Like, I think that we can gravitate to the person with great charisma and I have all these cool sayings and slogans, but are they actually in the work? Are they actually working with others? Are they actually being selfless and self-sacrificing and having the Spirit of God? And that's what attracted me to ask somebody to help me through the work of the 12 steps. So I think trust is a big thing for a lot of people. I think it's even with women and men. We just have, I can't believe that I was so untrusting of men. And it was really hard, but to invite God into my life, I have to invite other people into my life as well, and go through the program and have somebody guide me into it, into the freedom and into the arms of God. So I guess that is the meditation today is where am I not being trusting and where am I being dishonest? Where do I have expectations of others and where are they letting me down? And so that shows me where I'm playing God.
It does. We got a comment. And I can barely read it. I can sort of read it. And so I wanted to.
Hi, Michelle. Hi, Jojo.
So Michael's saying.
Hi, Jason.
Mike, that must be Michael's sobriety day.
Congratulations, Michael.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And
we'll see you at noon Eastern Standard Time on Zoom. The number will be in the link. And we will see you at noon and have a great day. Keep the peace and be a good behavior and spread God's love. Be his light. Be salt and light to the world around you. Amen. Amen.